Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mood616 here, and yes, I'm back with a brand new DVD, Blu-ray slash 4K update for the month of June 2025. Yes, first update I've done in the last couple months. I think my last one was uploaded at the beginning of April. So this is everything I picked up through April and May, and I guess into June. This is actually not going to include my. I actually just got the box today, which was massive, of the halfway to Black Friday sale, and then of course the partner label stuff. So it's like this massive box. It would have like doubled the size of my update. And I was like, no, I'll just keep that for the next month. So yeah, so this update is it's actually probably one of the smaller ones I've had in a few years, to be honest. But there is a bunch of pretty expensive box sets and stuff like that that are in here that kind of added up, and also the halfway to Black Friday sale and the partner label stuff was spent way too much money, so that's kind of contributing to why I didn't pick up a lot here, but I did pick up some stuff anyways. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this. I did actually pick up a couple DVDs. Now this first one I want to show off is kind of like, it's moods being moods. It's the collector in me, and it's one of those oddball things where I watch a lot of younger collectors and stuff, and they won't even buy DVDs. They barely. I watched this one dude. I'm not going to say his name, but he won't even buy stuff unless it's on 4K. I'm like, this is crazy to me. So this is kind of like moods being a backwards collector. It's something that I actually already have on Blu-ray, but it's from an old school boutique label that I really hold dear to my heart, because when they were dropping stuff back in the 2000s and early 2010s and shit like that, it meant a lot, because those movies were kind of getting their due at the time and stuff. A lot of them shits have been released on Blu-ray and had upgrades and shit like that. But I'd never seen this one. I didn't own this, and I'd never come across this one before, but I found it at a charity shop for $2. I was like, I'm gonna fucking, I'm gonna grab this one because it does go online for more than $2. But anyways, it is 1964's The Thrill Killers, directed by Ray Dennis Steckler. Which, yeah, man, it's just very, very odd that I would find this out in the wild, because we actually got 1964 for our retro top 10 show on the 22 Shots Movies and Horror podcast. Now, I do already have the Blu-ray. It does come in this box set, which I actually did get it signed by his wife and stuff, which is totally cool. It even says Thrill Killers right on the cover there, so you guys can see that. So it was kind of like a backwards grade, you know what I mean? But no, I got it for collector purposes. I was like, it's $2. I can't really just let it sit there. And it was literally the only thing I found that I purchased was one DVD for $2. And to make things even more bizarre, I never find things like this, like Shriek Show, like a lot of the, old Anchor Bay DVDs and Shriek Show and those older boutique labels. You don't really find out in the wild a lot anymore, man. They're kind of past that due, like people kind of snagged them up and people aren't really getting rid of them anymore. Maybe bigger cities and stuff, but my town, no. But so random, I barely ever find Shriek Show stuff out in the wild. So for $2, I was like, hell yeah, man, I'll grab The Thrill Killers. I've actually never seen it. It's one of the films in the set I've not seen before, so I'm actually looking forward to it. But of course, I'm going to be checking it out for 1964 anyways, but I'll be watching the Blu-ray, of course, because, yeah, Shriek Show. Yeah, so just thought I'd tell that little story that was kind of interesting, a weird, interesting find. It's just strange that I just got 1964. Anyways, so I went and picked up this double feature of the horror of Party Beach, and I actually bought it for The Curse of the Living Corpse, because I already have the Blu-ray for the horror of Party Beach. Again, going backwards, no. I got it for this. This is released by Dark Sky Films, another boutique label I've always been a big fan of. But this is another film from 1964 that I needed to grab, and I knew that they'd released it. So when we got it, I was like, oh, that gives me, it gives me an opportunity to pick up the DVD, and I found it for really cheap. So why not? The Horror of Beach Party actually has a Blu-ray from Severin, which is a really stupid, fun movie. It's pretty fun shit. But yeah, The Curse of the Living Corpse, I've actually never seen before. It looks like it's a period piece taking place in the 1890s. So yeah, let me know if you've seen it. It looks kind of cool. So that's pretty cool. Another one from 1964 I've grabbed. Now this is weird too. I grabbed Pyro, which, it's funny when you look at this artwork, like you wouldn't think it was actually from 1964. It kind of looks like a new film that's doing a period piece. I don't know. The artwork just doesn't really, and it's weird too, because Troma doesn't release a lot of like old films like that. It's kind of crazy. It's probably the first Troma DVD I've bought in probably over 10 years. And you guys, if you guys follow my channel, you guys know I have a massive Troma collection. But I didn't own this one. But I stopped buying trauma DVDs so long ago because they put out Blu-rays, and of course, Vinegar Syndrome has a license to put all their stuff out on Blu-ray too, which is kind of cool because they can get really good transfers of some shit movies. But yeah, Pyro, one I've never seen, 1964. Yeah, so why not? It was dirt cheap, like a lot of these old Troma DVDs, because very seldomly do they ever sell for lots of money. So, but yeah, Pyro, Burn, Berry, Burn. I didn't even notice that until right now. Burn, Berry, Burn. Okay, I'm sure it plays into the movie. Oh man, it's hotter than fucking hell in this room right now. I just finished cutting the lawns. I've had a long day, man. I worked, edited the podcast, went out and did the lawns, and now I'm doing this. I'm just go today. So I was just kind of on a roll, and I already had it set up. I was going to record this actually a couple days ago, and so all my shit was already set up, and I got sidetracked because that's what fucking happens when you're an adult. So, yeah, that's pretty good actually. Space Kitty Juicy IPA, yummy. That's pretty good. And then I grabbed the 4-film shark collection from Echo Bridge. And the reason why I grabbed this because we were actually doing these films on the podcast, just the trilogy, the Shark Attack trilogy. Of course, Shark Attack being from 1999, Shark Attack 2 from 2000, and of course, the utterly insanely funny and awesome Shark Attack 3 Megalodon from 2002. And I'd never seen any of these movies, believe it or not. I know I used to be into all of the shark films. I have this big collection of shark films. I stopped buying them when they start making like Shark Exorcist and all this other bullshit. I'm just like, I can't fuck with these $5 movies anymore. But this is kind of at the cusp where they were still kind of trying to make decent movies, even though they probably didn't turn out the greatest, but they're still pretty fun. But Shark Attack 3 Megalodon, if you know the history of that film, which I did not until I recorded the podcast and did some research, man, I didn't realize this thing was like a huge meme for years, and it has the funniest line in the history of cinema in it. I laughed my ass off through this movie so much. I was wiping tears away. I couldn't fucking believe the effects. Like, the effects are so funny, and it's done like they were legitimately trying to make a decent movie, and the effects are just the funniest superimposed stuff you've ever seen, like stock footage and superimposing like scenes into the shark. Oh my God. I was literally dying watching this. It was such a fun thing to record. It was funny as hell, man. Funny as hell. And of course, there's a 4th movie on here called Shark Zone, which I actually owned the solo DVD of that. And that movie sucks anyway. So, but yeah, Shark Attack 1, 2, and 3. I know there's a Blu-ray version of this, but it's totally unavailable to me. I cannot seem to find it. It's like nowhere. It's like the Phantom Blu-ray apparently. So, but yeah, Shark Attack collection. All right, so that's it for the DVDs. Now everybody go, finally the fucking Blu-rays. All right, so this one right here is interesting too. So I know Umbrella released a nice fancy edition of this film. And the thing is though, man, like the Blu-ray goes for like 65 and the 4K is like 80. It is so crazy expensive. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I've always wanted to this movie to get a physical copy of this movie because when we got 1996 years ago on the podcast, this was a film that none of us had ever seen before. And we probably did that show 10, 12 years ago. I don't even know. And we kind of all discovered this movie, and it had no release at the time, and it just got its due, I think, this year. So Umbrella put out these fancy editions, and I just kind of passed on. I'll wait till the shit drops or there's like a standard of it or whatever. But until then, I knew that the Spaniards or whatever dropped it seems like everything they drop is gray market, but it does seem like it's legit. People are saying this is a legit release. It's not burnt or nothing. It's it's got, I think it's got barcodes and everything. I think this is a Spanish edition. Yeah, it is. And that's in 1996. It's Thesis. Fucking excellent film, man. But I wasn't going to pass this up. It was $20 for this sealed, or it was $80 for Umbrella. And I'm like, I just want a copy of the movie right now, man. Like, I know I love Umbrella, but come on. I'm not paying $80 for a fucking 4K. Like, the prices are outrageous right now. It's absolutely insane. That was the prime price for me. It was like $79 or so. I was like, what? And it was no cheaper for me to buy from Umbrella, even though the Canadian dollar is worth more than the Australian dollar. It was going to cost me actually like over 90 or some crazy shit because the shipping is insane from Australia. So $20 on Prime for the Spanish version of Thesis. Hook a brother up, right? Hook a brother up. So I took it. $20. It is what it is, man. All right. I'm not mad, man. I ain't mad. So, all right. So then we got Eden Lake here. This is a German Blu-ray. I don't know why this one doesn't have a Region 1 Blu-ray, because I know this was one of the Extreme Dimension films. I love this movie. This is actually a film that we're going to be covering in another summer episode, like a summer horror episode or whatever. And this was my choice. We each picked a film to do. This was my choice for the show, Eden Lake. I've always been a big fan of this. And I was like, you know what? I know there's a German Blu-ray. Apparently it is uncut. It's, the normal version of it. And it apparently looks decent. So from what I read, but you never know with some of these German Blu-rays, they could be a little bit shifty. But yeah, so I think that, yeah, this is a Region B Blu-ray. So if you're wanting to know, it is Region B. So got to have an all region player. But Eden Lake, awesome film. This was actually JP's pick for the show, which is The Ruins. When the fuck did The Ruins come out? 2000. Yeah, 2008, really? Damn, was that? Wow, I thought it was earlier. Yeah, so I actually got this from the same seller as the Eden Lake, and Eden Lake was $5 for that Blu-ray, and this was $5. So pretty crazy. So yeah, The Ruins. Haven't seen this in a long time. I actually really remember digging this film. So it's been a while. Looking forward to checking it out again. So then I grabbed this because it was a $5 sealed Blu-ray just to upgrade my DVD. I had this is another weird one because we were literally just having a conversation about this film on the podcast, not reviewing it, but it got brought up in conversation about how this movie is fine for what it is, but it's kind of a strange release because it was like straight VOD, straight video kind of thing with a PG-13 rating. I don't know why they didn't just go all out and make it a rated R film. I know there's probably a story there. But this movie, like for what it is, I think it's really good at what it does, being meta and all that type of stuff. But I think it kind of suffers from not going over the top and being that rated R, kills blood and gore and boobs and stuff like that. But, for what it is, I think it's a really good film, but I think it just could be a lot better. But there's no problem with that. So whatever, upgrade for my DVD. I had no intentions. I just came across it right after we were talking about it. It was fresh in my mind. So I'm like, fuck it, I'll pick up a copy of The Final Girl. So whatever. Next up here from Mondo Macabro. Yeah, that was just a bunch of kind of standard stuff that I picked up there into the boutique label stuff. Mondo Macabro is The Hungry Snake Woman. Mondo is always dropping shit that I am completely loving. Like, I love Mondo Macabro. I've loved Mondo since they were dropping DVDs 25 years ago. This one's from 1986, an Indonesian film. And anything that Mondo releases that's from Indonesia is always gold. It's always gold. I've reviewed so many films that they put out from Indonesia. And it's like, if I see something from the 80s from Indonesia, I'm like, yeah, it's got to be gold. So, you go in blind and you're probably usually never disappointed. So, but yeah, this one looks pretty fun, man. The Hungry Snake Woman. Then we got The Warrior, which I never grabbed the DVD of this for whatever reasons. I know it was just one I just passed on. And it's another Indonesian film. I don't know why. But I know it's like, it's kind of a mashup of genres. I know it's like a fantasy, but it's got like horror elements to it and shit like that. So I've heard this is really fun. So I'm looking forward to finally checking out The Warrior. Course, had to grab the 2-pack of the sequels, which is The Warrior and the Blind Swordsman and The Warrior and the Ninja. I mean, any movie called The Warrior and the Ninja, I mean, come on, man. Yeah, so this looks pretty awesome. So The Warrior's from what year? 1981. Oh shit, it's actually that old. And then the sequels are from 83 and 85. So yeah, 3 movies in 4 years. That's pretty cool. So yeah, looking forward to checking those out. And I picked up the Sinister Dr. Orloff. Yeah, it's in a red case. So this is one that obviously never sold out because it was on the website. I was just waiting for it to sell out so I could grab the standard. And it went down to the price of a standard. So I was like, whatever, I'll just grab it. Then it's not going to get any cheaper. People don't want this. Directed by the infamous Jess Franco, the Sinister Dr. Orloff is not one of the better Dr. Orloff films in the series. This is actually a later one from 1984. I think the original ones were like from the early 60s, 62 and 63, 64, something like that. I think there's like 4 or 5 total films within the franchise or whatever. This is one I've actually never seen before. I've actually never seen this one. So I'm looking forward to kind of checking this out, but I have heard it's pretty awful. It's terrible. It's a fucking terrible joke. But yeah, anyways. So this is kind of a weird one too. So I was talking with my buddy about Argento films, and he was asking me like, what are some of the better editions for the films? He's just, he's not really, a huge collector, but he wants to get the best editions of Argento films. And we got talking about them and stuff like that. And he asked me about Inferno. And I said, what's crazy? The only edition of Inferno besides DVDs, like I've got the Blue Underground DVD and Anchor Bay and other editions, but I have the old window box Arrow Blu-ray that came out in like 2009 or 10 or something like that. And that's the only version, because I know they re-released it like in a standard later on. I think it may have been the same transfer. I'm not 100% if they had remastered or done anything with it. But I was like, I never grabbed it, and it's out of print or whatever. And I came across this for dirt cheap, and I'm not even sure if it's the same transfer as the Arrow one. They did come out around the same time. This one came out in 2011 from Anchor Bay, or from Blue Underground, which William Lustig was Anchor Bay, and then he's Blue Underground. Sorry. Yeah, so this is 2011. It was like a year or two after. It doesn't really say much. It does say Blue Underground is proud to present Inferno in a breathtaking high definition, freshly transferred from the original uncut. So maybe it is a new transfer. So it's different than, because I have heard people say that this one looks better than the original Arrow Blu-ray. So, I just came across this for like $10, and I was like, okay, I might as well just take a chance and grab it, because I mean, can you have enough editions of Inferno? Probably not. It actually has one of my all-time favorite scenes ever in a film, which is the underwater scene in the apartment building where the girl goes down and takes that little swim down there. I love that scene, dude. It's shot so beautifully. Oh, it's claustrophobic. It's scary. It's frightening. It's awesome. But Inferno, good shit, which is actually rumored to be kind of shot by Mario Bava, I believe, or something like that. The rumors go. This is really good. Space Kitties, generally something I wouldn't put on camera, but but anyways, so this is weird too. I know I bought this Blu-ray years ago, and I couldn't find it for the life of me. Like, I have all my stuff organized, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping dicks, and I never did buy it, because I know I've had the original DVD forever, and that's Demonic Toys. I went to go grab it because I'm obviously prepping for 1992 right now, and the Full Moon released like 6 movies that year. Demonic Toys being one of them. So I went to go grab the Blu-ray. I'm like, where the fuck is it? I couldn't find it. I'm like, damn. I'm like, I don't want to watch the full screen shitty DVD of it. So I had to go out and grab a copy of this, which was actually pretty cheap in itself. So, but yeah, Demonic Toys from 1992. Super fun. Oopsie Baby. So fucking funny, man. I can shit my pants. Can you shit your pants? Stupid fuck. Like, I don't know who in the hell thought it was a good idea to write dialogue like that, but I'm glad they did, because it's like uber cheesy funny to me. But like Demonic Toys is one of those weird films that Full Moon was doing at the time. They were all into like these killer doll films and shit like that. This one has the weirdest narrative ever. Like, it really is kind of strange when you actually break it down to what's going on. It's weird. It's such a weird scenario or narrative, but I love it. Demonic Toys is fun, man. It's fun shit. Quick watch. All right, so from Warner Brothers, I finally upgraded this, man. I've had the DVD. I got the soundtrack on vinyl. I've got the CD, whatever. It's one of my favorites. I love the soundtrack, and that's Judgment Night, man. It had been forever since I've seen it. I'm a huge Emilio Estevez fan, so it's just inevitable that I was eventually going to upgrade this, man. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in this. Stephen Dorff. Who else we got in this film? Jeremy Piven is in the film. Good shit though, man. I think it runs a little bit too long. I think it runs close to 2. Yeah, it's like almost 2 hours. It does feel like it's a little bit long at times, but the soundtrack really kind of holds it together. It's banging, man. It's kind of a progressive thing, we had hip hop acts with like rock and grunge and metal acts and stuff like that. Pretty cool, man. The soundtrack still holds its own today. I love it. Good stuff. But yeah, so Judgment Night looks great. I had this one right here. This is one that I was like really looking forward to checking out, man. Because I was a really big fan of the other director's film, Aftermath. I think I reviewed that, or I can't remember if I did on the podcast. I don't remember. So this one right here is from, when the hell did this I know it's 1991. Yeah, so it's like the year, 1991. So, and it's called Empire of the Dark. Now, if you've never seen Aftermath, I think it's like it's very ambitious, low budget, like the way they did the effects and stuff. It just has this kind of really cool post-apocalyptic type feel to it. Love the way it looks, and it almost feels like a passion project that's like really decently good. It's fun, man. And I've heard this is kind of on the same lines as Aftermath. So I'm really intrigued by that, because like I said, I was a really big fan of that film. And I mean, I'm a fucking huge fan of post-apocalyptic films. Like, I love that shit, man. Especially Italian post-apocalyptic films are like my shit. But yeah, no, this one looks pretty cool. One reviewer described it what follows as Rambo in hell. I like that. That's pretty fucking sweet. So if it is Rambo in hell, man, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, so it says a private detective searching for a killer comes across a satanic cult from another dimension. Monsters are called up from hell, and legions of murderous undead ninja assassins are on the attack. Oh my god, how have I not watched this? Oh my god, that storyline just sounds so funny, man. An orgy of action. Okay, I'm probably gonna watch this later. But yeah, so that's from VCI. VCI also put out Aftermath also, so must have a deal with Steve Barkett. So yeah, cool, man. Really good stuff. Kind of feels like, oh yeah, it's right. It's like a triple disc too. Triple disc, which is nuts. So pretty crazy release for VCI, which do a lot better than they originally started with their Blu-rays. So, but yeah, so getting into some of the Vinegar Syndrome partner label stuff here. We got Bone Sickness, of course, from Saturn's Core, directed by the one and only Brian Pollin, which, of course, this is an upgrade for me. And I will say, man, this edition is fucking batshit, dude. It's got so many features on it. It's got the original 2004 cut, which I believe is a little bit shorter. Yeah, it's just a little bit shorter. It's got a couple different commentaries on it. It's got a bunch of really cool shit on here. But if you're familiar with Brian Pollin, he's a DIY guy. Shot on, I think this was shot like on digital video in like 2002 or like maybe like 99 to like 2000. It was shot over a couple years or whatever. But like, if you want to talk about super ambitious, like just straight up gore, like Brian Pollan's the type of filmmaker that makes movies because he loves to make movies. That's why his movies are just nonstop fucking action and gore. Like there's like no downtime in his movies. It's crazy. It's pretty wild. So JP watched this for the first time and couldn't believe it, man. It's like just over 100 minutes of almost straight nasty zombie other shit that's going on. I don't want to give it away if you guys haven't seen it, but again, it's low budget. It's but some of the effects look better than others, but man, there's so many in this. It's just like, it's mind-blowing how much effects are in this film. It's crazy. I know some of the effects were actually shot for other films that didn't get made, so they kind of put the shit in there. But it's so ambitious that there's even like car flips. It's fucking wild, man. But there's so much cool shit going on in this, and the narrative's really nasty too. So really nasty shit. But I highly recommend Bone Sickness. Huge Brian Pollin fan. I'm so happy to see that his movies are getting some love on the Blu-ray format. So yeah, so check out Bone Sickness, man. It's really fucking awesome. It's totally worth your time. I think at one point or another, I've reviewed like all of his movies. Unearthed Films actually put out the DVD for this years ago. So if you're not aware of that I think is, well, I don't think it's still available, but yeah. Then of course, Magnet put out Severance, which was actually my review for the last Sin Bin podcast. I hadn't seen Severance in years, and I remember really digging it. It's a horror comedy that's done very clever. It's not one of those stupid like kind of punchline. It's more situational. It's more editing type comedy and stuff like that. And it's just done very clever. There's a lot of really good things that are happening in this movie. One thing I really did notice watching it with, a review eye was how well they developed these characters in this movie. Like they have this pretty crazy carnage opening scene that if you didn't know that you're getting into a comedy, you wouldn't think it was actually a comedy. You'd think it was a fucking straight up horror film. So, and then, that ends, and then you get like about 45-50 minutes of just like these characters and like following these characters and all this stupid shit that's happening, but it's super entertaining. And the cool thing about the movie is that all the characters are written perfectly. They're all so different, and because they all work for this arms company. They sell basically weapons to like to countries and shit like that. And it's what the commentary is right there. What goes around kind of comes around, right? When you don't give a fuck, it's gonna come back to bite you in the ass. But yeah, it's really fun. And then when the carnage starts, you're like, oh god damn, it's pretty crazy. There's a lot of cool shit that's happening in this. There's actually a storyboard alternate ending to this that had me in stitches. I really wish that they had a shot that and used that original ending, because it is so damn funny that I was like, oh my god, it's so perfect. It would have been the perfect ending to the film, because in my opinion, the weakest thing of the film is actually the very last couple shots of the film. And I feel like if they had to use that storyboard ending, which I'm not going to ruin, because if you guys want to check this out, then check it out. But because of course I watched all the features of this because it was my review and that's what we do on the podcast. But yeah, really, really funny, man. I thought it was hilarious. It's too bad there wasn't actual footage, but even the storyboard, it was good enough. So, but yeah, Severance from Magnet, yeah, doing good stuff right now. They got tons of stuff that they could release like in the vaults, man. There's like tons of great films that they have the rights to. So, but pretty cool. They're 2 for 2 so far. This one from V8 Shitfest, we've got Project Omicron. I think this is like this one, like I really love this label because they put out, the type of shit that I'm really interested in, these very obscure VHS, like low budget, fucking just crazy weird shit. I think it's done. Yeah. So Jared William, Project Omicron when he was 15 years old and spent 7 years working on it. The result is one of the most unique and mind-bending sci-fi films you can imagine, while also being a perfect love letter to the 50s science fiction films Whiteman grew up watching. VHF is his proud, blah, blah, blah. So it's got a bunch of, like, it's cool too, man. It's got like all his shorts on there. And that's one thing about these, Saturn's Core and like VHF Fest and stuff. They knock their features out. I don't even think, like, people always talk about like, Vinegar Syndrome does a lot of features and stuff like that too. And like Arrow and stuff. But like, I don't think anyone does more than Saturn's Core does, man. You get like double your money's worth out of every release, dude. It's just wild. So, but yeah, pretty cool. This one comes with like a bunch of shorts and like there's tons of features on here. Yeah, so really, really interested to check that out, man. I mean, I like shit like this, so not for everybody, but I do. All right, so this was the main feature, The Nesting, from Armin Weston, who actually previously was like a porn director, but don't get that twisted, man. It's actually a very, very beautiful film. The cinematographer that shot this movie shot like The Prowler, and he did tons of like mainstream, like he worked in porn and then he went off and just a great photographer. So, but yeah, that's one thing about this film that's done really well is its photography is really awesome. I think the story is a little bit interesting. It's basically kind of like a haunted house type deal thing, basically about this writer that needs a different location to like write her book. She's got a book coming out called The Nesting, but she needs some new ideas and stuff like that. And she's kind of drawn to this house, and then all this crazy shit starts happening. There's some pretty, I mean, I think the one thing about this movie that really kind of hinders it is the fact that people think it's like a straight up slasher film because of this artwork that most people are familiar with, which, there is a scene in the film with the site or with this, what are those things called? The corn, what? I don't even know what those things are called. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it's used on someone's head. So yeah, I think the major problem is this is from 1981. It was at the height of the slasher craze, and everyone probably watched this going, where the fuck is the slashing? I think it was actually even released later on in 1983 as Mansion Massacre, which is like so misleading. I guess in a sense there still is kind of a massacre because a lot of people do end up dead in the film, but all in all though, man, like The Nesting, it's a pretty interesting film. This version actually is the Phobia cut, which is actually the longer cut, which I'd never seen before. I do have the Blue Underground DVD, which is the other cut, and I think it's the only cut that's actually on this. So that's the version you get, which is a little bit longer. And I think that's one thing that kind of plagued the other cut was people thought it was too long, but I don't know. I like The Nesting. I don't think it's great, like phenomenal, but I think it's a good movie. It's beautiful to look at though. It's really good. And then speaking of what I was talking about, Trauma releasing films, the new VSA from Vinegar Syndrome, they released Igor and the Lunatics from 1985. This movie is just, I've watched this movie probably 4 or 5 times in my life now, and I swear every time I watch it, it gets worse for me. Like every time there's a better transfer that comes out, it gets worse. It's such a messy movie, the narrative, but I think it's the way that it's edited together. It doesn't allow itself to even make sense. Like there's so many time issues. There's so many narrative things that are just weird about this film that like, don't really make sense. And I swear they're like using different actors in the shit too. But yeah, like, I don't know, man, like it has a couple moments in it, but overall it's just a really shit film, man. It's such a shitty movie. Fucking Igor and Lunatics. This was a cool release from Vinegar Syndrome. Devil Doll plus The Curse of the Voodoo. Now, what's cool about Devil Doll is it was actually one of my picks on the Hidden Gems show that we did, Hidden Gems Volume 1 on 22 Shots, Movies, and Horror. I actually picked this movie as a hidden gem, and then it gets released. I think there's been a couple films that have been released since we did that. So that's really cool. I've never seen Curse of the Voodoo, but I'm a really big fan of Devil Doll. I think it's super, like hella underrated. I think it's actually really creepy, man. So yeah, so that's another one I'll be rewatching for 1964. And then the other one's from 1965, which I really do not know a bunch about. So looking forward to checking out Curse of the Voodoo. It's a weird title, Curse of the Voodoo. It's weird. I don't know. And then last up for the Vinegar Syndrome stuff, we got Murder Rock. Oh, there's boobies getting flagged. Yeah, so Lucio Fulci's Murder Rock, which is, I think, like my fifth edition of this fucking movie, man. Jesus. So Lucio Fulci is my favorite director, so I don't really feel overly too bad about picking up multiple editions. But yeah, so it's a 4K of Murder Rock, which is insane. The one thing about Murder Rock that's always plagued it is the fact that he just wasn't doing the Fulci-esque type gore at this point in his career. The later 80s, well, this was 84. This was right after, he just went through that huge the Gates of Hell trilogy and stuff like that, and Manhattan Bay. Like, he went on this huge run of like crazy films, and then all of a sudden, like, this one, it's decent kills, but it's not like City Living Dead and the Beyond gore and stuff like that. So I think this one was kind of a miss for a lot of people, but it's very 80s. It's very, very 80s. It's very much a product of its time, given what the narrative is and stuff, the music, the dancing and shit like that. So, you're playing along, man. Like, you got to do that shit. I really like this movie. But I think, again, just like Final Girls, it would actually benefit from quite a bit of extra kill, like gore and just, Fulci-esque shit, So, but yeah, really nice edition, hard box. Not a special line or anything. And it's just it's actually number 500 in the line. Number 500. So that's pretty cool. Very nice edition, though, man, for Murder Rock. Pretty cool stuff. So, and that's actually it for the DVDs and stuff here into the box sets, which I do have some decent ones here. So I just got this in a couple days ago, and it's one I've been wanting forever because I remember recording these off a TV, and then they were bootlegged for like ever. I don't know. It's like Sony, like somebody couldn't put these out because there was like rights issues with them and stuff like that. Might have been music. I'm not even 100% sure. And that's, of course, the second cartoon of the Ghostbusters, which was the Extreme Ghostbusters. Which was, I think it started in the 90s. Was it 90s? Yeah, like late 90s or something like that. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember. Sometime in the 90s. But it was like a totally different type of narrative and shit, but really, really fun. Man, this 877 minutes. But yeah, I'm so happy to finally have like legit copies of this because, I love me some cartoons. And it's one thing I really should do one of these days is show off my cartoon collection because it's pretty decent. I mean, I don't go out and get everything, but I do have a lot of shit though. It's just very nostalgic for me. So, but I'm a dork. All right. So next up here from Arrow, a box set that I actually picked up because just a lot of the stuff they've been releasing these days, it's like decent stuff, but it's not really stuff I need Arrow versions of. But this really caught my attention because right away, I was like, God damn, dude, this is a really interesting box set. And Arrow does this with their Asian sets. And this one's called V Cinema Essentials, Bullets and Betrayal. Basically, it's a bunch of films that were released straight to video, like back in the 80s and I want to say maybe early 90s and stuff like that. So like a bunch of Japanese shit that was just, straight to video. And they made a whole box set out of that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's gnarly as hell. So it's one thing I've always loved about Arrow is like the effort that they put into their Asian sets, man. Like they go out and just grab some crazy shit. Double X Beautiful Hunter. I know these are double side this one actually isn't. So, oh wow, that artwork on the inside. One thing I've never really been a big fan is like of their commissioned artwork. I mean, I would much prefer that right there, even though that really does look like a video release. That is crazy. The Hitman, Blood Smells Like Roses, and Danger Point, The Road to Hell. So I haven't seen any of these films, but I'm going to be digging into this box set very, very soon because I am a big fan of these type of films. So pretty awesome. Then we got Burning Dog and Female Prisoner Scorpion Death Threat, which must be another one because I'm pretty sure that's not in the Female Scorpion box set that they released years ago. That I can remember. I can't remember all the subtitles to them, but Female Scorpion, Prisoner Scorpion Death Threat, I'm pretty sure that's not. So, but yeah, so those are the two that are in that one. Then we got Stranger and Carlos. That was easy. There's Stranger. Not a lot of these have the original artworks. It's just pretty much like all these like newly commissioned ones, which kind of sucks because I'm a big fan of the video era, and a lot of people watching this probably are too. Then we got Crime Hunter, Bullets of Rage, and Neo Shinpira. Zoom go Neo Shinpira. Zoom goes the bullet. Well, the bullet usually does go zoom. That's fucking hilarious, man. But at least we get some inserts and shit like that kind of gives you an idea of what they look like. So that's pretty cool. Oh yeah, totally. So pretty cool. But yeah, looking forward to checking these out, man. Just a bunch of craziness here. So of course it has a booklet also. So I can probably read up on that. Like I love booklets. I usually always read them. Because I mean, I don't really know much about these. The only thing I'm really vaguely familiar with is the female prisoner Scorpion, because I've seen all those films before, but that must be a different one. I don't know where that one came from. So unless I'm tripping, it's in the other one. I can't remember. Then I said I wasn't going to grab this, and I was like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And then they just announced volume 2 of this also. So from Shout Factory, and you guys probably know I'm a massive blaxploitation fan. And I actually own all these on Blu-ray except for one. So it's kind of the reason why I picked this up, because I didn't think they were going to be releasing it solo. But the Blaxploitation Classics Volume 1. So it's a 4K set. Yeah, so I do own all these different like other Blu-rays like Kinos and shit like that. So, but yeah, so we got Truck Turner, which is one of my all-time favorite blaxploitation films. Isaac Hayes as Truck Turner is just, it's maniacal, man. It's fucking amazing. We got Pam Grier as Sheba Baby, which is probably like my 8th copy I've ever owned of this. It's crazy how many copies I've had of Sheba Baby. Christ, I've had a couple. I've VHS, DVD. I've had fucking Arrow Blu-ray. My God. Then we got Coffee, which I do have this Olive and the Arrow, and now I've got the Shout Coffee, which is classic. Then we got Black Caesar, which I'll show that one first here, which is, Larry Cohen at like making blaxploitation films, guerrilla style. It's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty wild shit, man. Yeah, and then with Fred Williamson, of course, who's godly. Who did the? Oh, it doesn't say. Okay, yeah, and then of course we got the sequel, which is Hell Up in Harlem, which isn't as good as Black Caesar. Like this one's way better. This is really good, actually. This one just at times feels a little bit forced and kind of feels like the leftovers of it, but yeah. And then this is actually the reason why I bought it, because I never had a copy of this, which is Across 110th Street with Anthony Quinn and Yoro Koto. I can never say his fucking name. Yaphet Koto. Rest in peace to him, man. I love that dude, man. He was fucking awesome. But yeah, great film. Yeah, that's the box set. So volume 2, I think, has, I can't remember the films that are in volume 2. It's a bunch of more upgrades for myself too, again, but whatever. At this point, all these blaxploitation box sets that are coming out, I'm just loving. So because Imprint put out that really awesome one. Then we got one from Severin here. We got the House of Psychotic Women Rarities Collection Volume 2, which I always praise the first one, man. Identikit is like one of my new favorite finds. I love that movie so much. Fucking Identikit's so awesome. And this is a crazy set too, because like the first one, I hadn't even heard of any of the movies, and they all turned out to be really good, in my opinion. And then we got Butterfly Kiss from 1994, which I was shocked to see 90s films in here. I was like, damn, that's crazy. So that's pretty cool, man. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure it has something to do with psychotic women. And then I got Morgiana, or you want to pronounce that right there. And I think this one, 1972. It's a Czech film from the director of The Cremator. So I know my boy Tyler will be really interested in this because he's a huge fan of The Cremator. I like The Cremator too. JP fucking hates it. It's hilarious whenever that gets brought up on the show because we're big fans, but he hates it. I don't get it, man. I think it's pretty good. But so that's curious. A Czech film. Butterfly Kiss is from, where's this one from? Oh, I wish they would put this. It says North American Blu-ray. Twisted British Answer to Thelma and Louise. This one got Amanda Plummer in it. Of course, people would recognize her from Pulp Fiction, most famously from Pulp Fiction, I would say. She's been in tons of things, but um, then we got the I Savage. My artwork on this one's a little wavy. It's interesting. I think it's because it's in there too tight, which I always but this one's from 1959. So that is quite the range of film, 59, 72, and 94. Directed this dramatized documentary at the San Francisco Cinematique. Where is this one from? I don't know. It doesn't say. But yeah, 1959, which is interesting because we just did 59. I don't know if it's a horror film or not, whatever. And then we got The Glass Ceiling, which is the only one that I'd vaguely heard of before from 1971. I haven't seen it, but I think this is the De La Iglesia film. The guy who did Cannibal Man and shit like that. So that's right. So the only reason why I've actually heard of this because I know the director, and usually when I'm into a director, I'll go and seek out a bunch of their stuff like that. And yeah, so that looks pretty cool. So kind of a wide range of films. Don't know how the quality is going to be, but I'm sure they look good because it's Severin for the most part. They put out pretty damn quality shit. So yeah, so another box set which I'm going to put these down because you guys have seen in the past where my shit goes kaboom like Jenga. And last up here is I had to do it, and I picked up the Ginger Dead Man movie collection. Yes, I did this. I was not going to buy this. And I was like, you know what? I have the Ginger Dead Man movie. I think all of them except for one, but they're, old full moon DVDs. They're all shitty and they look terrible. But I gotta say, man, they kind of knocked this out the park, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with this. It's literally a huge cookie tin. It's a huge cookie tin. It's totally awesome. it's just like what you get in a store. It's crazy. Of course it is. Like, I'm just saying it's not like cardboard or nothing or some cheap ass shit. Like Full Moon does their box sets pretty decent. So this is what it looks like when you open it up. The movies are kind of stacked in the middle, which kind of makes sense but the cool thing is, man, you actually get the Ginger Dead Man little standee here, which is pretty awesome, man. It's pretty solid. And then we got the Ginger Dead Man. I'm hoping, I don't think they do. Now, I haven't opened this, but I don't think they have the reversible arts, which sucks because I kind of like the original artworks. But yeah, Ginger Dead Man with Gary Busey. Then we got Dead Man 2, The Passion of the Crust. Dude, they always have the best titles. Ginger Dead Man 3, Saturday Night Cleaver. Come on, man. It's awesome. This movie's actually pretty shitty. I remember watching this when it came out, and I was just like, oh my God, so bad. Of course, if you're a fan of the Evil Bong series, they decided to mash them up. Evil Dead, the Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong, which I haven't seen since it came out, but man. And then this one I heard is pretty shitty, but I laughed at this. The Ginger Weed Man. Really? So awesome, man. So I like to go through these. So I've seen 4 of these. I own 4 of these actually, but I couldn't pass up this box set because I was like, this is pretty cool, man. So, and this one was actually way cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So like the pre-order on this was like crazy expensive, and it kind of dropped a little bit. And then when it came out Prime, it was like $60 something cheaper. I paid like barely, like it was crazy how much this came out to. It was actually not bad considering there's 5 movies and a figure in it. So pretty good actually. But anyways, that is going to conclude the update. Yeah, that's everything I picked up the last couple months. Like I said, I did get my Vinegar Syndrome package today, but it's literally like the stack of what I just showed. That's how many shits that I picked up. So I was like, I'm not doubling this update. I might as well just do this. And plus, I was going to do this 2 days ago before it even came in anyways. So whatever, I'll just keep that for the next month because I don't actually have a lot of shit. I have a few things that are in the post right now and a few pre-orders, but besides that, like probably just going to be saving up for Wasteland, and then I'll go ape at the TerraVision table and Severin it like I usually do, and hopefully Masker's there this year that I can grab some stuff from Masker. They haven't been the last few shows, so kind of doubt they're going to be. But that's usually what I hit up when I go there because Severin's so expensive for me and TerraVision's so expensive to import from the States. It's just crazy. So, but anyways, that's it for the update. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments down below. what you guys have seen and stuff like that. And I'll be back with an update sooner than later. Oh, I am working. Actually, I've had the movies ever since I did the first volume, which I know the audio sucked in that video, by the way. So hopefully the next one will be better because I got some new wireless things that they sound pretty good. For like 10 movies that need to be on Blu-ray. I've had the movies sitting there since I did the first one, pretty much. Like I think I had like 7 or 8 ready to go. So I should just go ahead and do that video and stuff. And then I'm going to get back into doing some more like boutique like Carnage videos and stuff like that. So yeah, so we'll get doing those. But the room is in shambles right now because I've been moving around shit and getting rid of stuff. So I've been stacking up things. It just kind of looks like shit. But maybe I'll give a little preview of what it looks like right now. Because it's like, so some people are going to be like, oh my God, how the fuck you find anything? But I can't. I know where everything is. But anyways, guys, Space Kitty says, we out of here, man. And as usual,